Hi guys, I'm Shmi and we are at the global debut of the latest super sports car from the legendary hypercar manufacturer Bugatti. This is the new Chiron. It's an exceptionally special car, and this is going to be our very first look around the car, a view of the unveiling, and a talk a little bit about some of the specifications and design that make up this truly spectacular car that we are looking at here. The Chiron has 1,500 horsepower, 1,600 Newton meters of torque. And during the presentation, they showed that torque delivery is available all the way from 2,000 RPM, all the way up to 7,000, which is a pretty spectacular feat. It's powered by the 8-litre W16 quad turbo, a new engine with 2-stage turbos to deliver that torque curve. But it just looks spectacular. 500 of them will be made, 2.4 million euros net. And just look at how aggressive it looks. The Chiron has been designed to add a little bit more beast to its design over the look of the Veyron. That is visible from the moment you're here at the front. Just look at how the lights go right out towards the edges. Those 8 lights that are also a performance-based feature, pulling air through the cars towards the cooling. You have the two-tone colour design, the A zone over the front and the B zone around the sides that continues around to the rear that we'll get to shortly. And everywhere you see sort of materials like aluminium, they are real metal materials. Around the grille, for example, the iconic Bugatti grille remaining in place there at the front. So we'll come round, that cooling comes through to these new 8-piston calipers at the front, 6-piston at the rear. We've got 20-inch wheels at the front, 21-inch at the rear. But while we're here at the side, this is where we can look at this new feature, the big C that goes around, which is all about form following performance. During development, Bugatti realised that the air coming around the side could be captured up here and pulled in for cooling around the rear. So as well as adding a design element to the car with the C and that sort of legendary shape, sort of C for Chiron, a bit like the signature of Vittori Bugatti, it adds that extra design element too. And all the way through the car, it's just exceptionally aggressive in design. You've got a whole series of sort of power lines travelling around the car and showing all sorts of aggressive designs to them while they go. They teased us with the Vision Gran Turismo concept that we saw at Frankfurt, and I had a wonderful opportunity to film with that car, and you can see the design cues that were being tested there and are now shown here in the final production model of this car. And just look at it as we come around the rear. We've got the familiar full width wing at the rear, the active aerodynamics, of course, 4 different modes that I'll explain when showing the interior, but also the rear has been opened up. You can see that there's a lot of room for air to escape out of the back of this car, and the wing has various different modes, of course, acting as an active air brake as well. The single brake light, 1.8 meters in width across the rear. Certainly a pretty distinct piece of design work around that back. And just look at the sort of centre line that you have all the way through the car. So you can see it here over the rear, across the centre of the engine bay, and even through the top of the rear wing there. That centre line continues through the centre of the car and makes it very focused on the inside too. While we're around here and looking at the engine, let's talk performance figures, because this is just amazing. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour is under 2.5, 0 to 200 kilometers an hour is under 6.5, 0 to 300 kilometers per hour, 13.6 seconds. And on top of that, braking from 300 kilometers an hour, 275 meters. Those are some pretty spectacular numbers, I'm sure you'll agree. But what a car, just looking at it here. Truly breathtaking on the outside and on the inside too, especially in this colour combination with the lovely dark blue against the light blue, separated by the aluminium C around the centre cabin and the rear view there. It's really quite special. So after we had a quick look around, let's watch the introduction of the new Bugatti Chiron.
2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen. gentlemen, the ultimate super sports car, the Bugatti Chiron.
Continuing our look around then, let's take a look at some of the aerodynamics because there is a lot going on here. You obviously have the central exhaust, but beside that you have the carbon fibre diffuser going on with these very aggressive vanes. There's a lot of aerodynamics at play, of course. Behind the front wheels you have some strakes that channel air around the car. It's all about airflow, as we were being explained in the presentation. There's active aerodynamic flaps towards the front as well, and of course that continues over the top with the air being channeled using the different sort of power lines across the top around the sides of the car. And in fact, we were being shown that this line that comes around here and then continues around the rear arch here, if you look from right above, is reminiscent of the Type 57 Atlantic. The shapes bear an exceptional resemblance to the legendary Bugatti Type 57, which is of course a very, very special and historically significant car. W16, 15 horsepower, showing us straight up there the power available from this car. We can catch a quick glimpse through there into the cabin. All the visible carbon around the centre section behind the Ettore Bugatti logo, the famous EB. There's actually quite a cool design here to these tail lights. Around all the sort of mesh and grills for the airflow to flow out through there. This is a very special opportunity to be able to look this close and personal to this new car. So I'll come back round towards the front where we can take a look at the shape of that central power line. It goes up here, you can see through the centre of the bonnet, goes through the cockpit, which we'll see in a second, and then continues over the roof towards the rear. And also an interesting feature is the dual tone of the door mirrors. But here these front grills are as wide as possible to allow the maximum amount of air to be caught, and the splitter itself as well, also designed for aerodynamic efficiency as well. So if I sneak towards the window, we can take a quick peek through that and just have a look at the inside. So one thing we were being shown is that the dashboard speedometer is an analog speedometer designed to look in the style of an expensive watch. It goes all the way from 0 to 500 kilometers an hour, with 250 being right at the 12 o'clock point and 500 being at the 5 p.m. point on the clock. The steering wheel has all the controls, so all the driver's own components can be found to the driver's side of the car. So on the wheel you'll have your media and entertainment, or your cruise control and the likes, and your driver handling modes are on the steering wheel. So I'll come around and show you that from the other side in a second as well. But you can see that power line that comes through there and continues through the roof and around the car. So head around to the other side here and catch a glimpse through to the steering wheel, how it looks on the inside of this side. So you can see we've got the engine start button to the lower right and the handling settings and controls to the left. So there are 4 different modes. There is the normal main mode to drive in. There is the Autobahn mode, which is of course the top speed mode, which allows the car to drive to 420 kilometers per hour, 261 miles per hour, whereas in normal mode it would drive to 380 kilometers an hour, of course slightly slower. That's the Autobahn mode. There's also the handling mode, which has speed limited, but maximum downforce with a drag coefficient of 0.4. So that's the handling mode. And then of course there's lift, because it is a very low car. You need the adaptive suspension to be lifted to make that possible. But this is really rather breathtaking to be here and be able to be taking a look at this car. Yeah, at its world preview. Interesting bit of design there also actually with the carbon fibre. You can see the way that line continues through the rear, just beneath the fuel caps. But I'm a little bit lost for words, because this is the world's first look at at the latest iconic car from Bugatti. And if the Veyron and history is anything to go by, this is going to absolutely set standards and benchmarks in the current time. And it's just breathtaking to look at. It is just truly, truly, truly breathtaking. You can see where this was going. And Bugatti told us that 1/3 of the cars have already been ordered, had deposits paid. 1/3 of that 500 run, so we can assume a little over 150 cars. I feel like I could just walk around this forever, just taking it all in, looking at the car, contemplating some of those statistics I've run over and told you about, and looking at the design features that have gone into the Bugatti Chiron. Yeah. That's a very, very special first opportunity to view the car. It is truly, truly, truly spectacular. So the global preview of the new Bugatti Chiron. You've seen it here for the very first time. Capable of in excess of 400 kilometers an hour. New tyres developed for the purpose, new tyres developed with Michelin. They give us some information about that. Improved in every way, every possible driving dynamic, but with exception of top speed, because of course that was already a target from the previous car. Satin carbon fibre on the dash, through the centre console. And that C that you can see actually from this angle, you can see around towards the back, how it loops up and around, separating out the driver zone from the passenger zone. We've got a quick glimpse here of the inside with the door open. I can quickly talk about the two digital displays. Either side of that analog display in the centre, there are two digital displays. To the left is the car sort of based information, and to the right is the entertainment and sort of rear camera and that sort of functionality that you'd expect, immediate navigation and the like. There's a floating centre console as well, you can see just straight through the centre there behind the gear stick. A rather nice Chiron embroidery just there on the centre tunnel as well. Well, this is really a special opportunity to get the first glimpse at the Bugatti Chiron. It's going to set benchmarks for the next generation of super sports cars. As you can tell, it's proving rather popular here at the exclusive preview event, where Bugatti have shown this for the very first time. And while I'm here at the front, there's a new badge, a new 3D badge that's going to be worn on the car, which is made from sterling silver as well. But isn't it special? The world premiere of the new Bugatti Chiron, a car I certainly hope that in the not too distant future you will be seeing plenty more of here on the Schmiel 50 channel, so make sure you're subscribed. I can't wait to feature this car, maybe eventually take it out for the first drive as well. But there it is, the new Bugatti Chiron, the world premiere, world debut here at the 2016 Geneva Motor Show. I hope you enjoyed that first look at this car, and I can't wait to share more with you in the future. That's it for now though, I will catch up with you again very soon. Cheers! Okay, so here we go, P1 time. Got the lift system up already, that's going to make it easy to get. If Porsche offered me a GT3 RS, I would not take a second to think about buying one. Let's jump in.